Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're going to be checking out a video titled How American and British Traffic Lights Are Very Different. Off the rip, like immediately just hearing about stoplights or traffic lights, whichever you want to call them, there's potential for them to be different, but I could never really understand how they can be very different, right? But according to this video, there's difference between them. So I'm curious to know what the potential differences could be, right? I really don't know. But hey, without further ado, let's get right into this video. Thank you for watching. If you're from the United Kingdom, holla at your boy in the comment section, and thank you for watching this video. Any recommendations, click that link in the pinned comment section, and you can submit a reaction request form, and as soon as possible I get it done. And yeah, without further ado, let's get right into this video.
While you might not spend a lot of time thinking about traffic lights, you do spend a lot of time sitting at them. In the UK, it's estimated that a driver spends about 8 minutes a day waiting at a red light. And in America, they estimate that you spend about 6 months of your entire life waiting at a traffic light. Unfortunately, I can't independently verify these stats, so don't use them in your research paper, but the point is, traffic lights are a big part of life. And if you can spend 8 minutes of your day doing nothing at a red light, you can spend 8 minutes of your day watching this video on the differences between traffic lights in the UK versus the USA. By the way, hi, I'm Kaylin, a dual UK and American citizen, and today I'm playing a traffic light expert on the internet. Now, let's do a brief rundown of the history of the traffic light, because this is an area where both the US and the UK contributed. Before traffic lights were invented, traffic was usually controlled by a traffic police, but in 1868, a man named J.P. Knight from Nottingham, who worked on railway signaling systems, came up with the idea for a traffic light that was installed outside of the Houses of Parliament. He came up with the idea based on railway signals at the time, and it was used to control the excessive amount of horse-drawn carriage traffic that was making it difficult for the traffic and pedestrians to all coexist safely. It was gaslit, and it was operated by a police constable, and while it did work, unfortunately it exploded the year after because of a leak in the gas lines. But it was an American, a policeman named...
It's really interesting how everything was gas. Back like about 200 years ago, like everything was literally gas operated. But even electricity is gas though. Damn, everything is gas. Damn. Every single thing is gas. No matter what you do, though you get another type of, what you would say, source, the original source seems to go right back to gas. Wow. Okay. Wow. Crazy.
Lester Wire from Salt Lake City, Utah, who developed the first electric traffic light in 1912. This design had a wooden box mounted onto a wooden pole, and it had one green light bulb and one red light bulb. The first fully electric traffic signal system was installed in Cleveland, Ohio in 1914.
Damn.
And in 1919, a man named William Potts from Michigan introduces the amber or yellow light. The UK started using their own manually operated 3-color traffic lights in Piccadilly around 1926, with automatic lights coming onto the scene in Wolverhampton in 1927. The first permanent automatic traffic lights in the UK were installed just 1 year later in the city of Leeds. And of course, over the years, as technology has improved, lights have changed and developed and started using computing technology and other kinds of controls and signals to keep up with the times and the type of traffic. Now let's move on to the differences. So the number of traffic lights is one major difference. Because the US is low on roundabouts and high on intersections, and because the US is a much larger place than the UK, the US has so many more traffic lights than the UK, around 300,000 in the US and around 30,000 in the UK. Another major difference...
Wow, that seems so little. I don't know if I'm the only person who thinks that that sounds like a small amount, like 300,000 stoplights. Like, it sounds really, really, really small, but hey, probably does make sense because, yeah, probably does make sense. Because really, you don't have stoplights anywhere except for city areas, intersections, really, so... Yeah.
Has to do with the installation of traffic lights and the design of the entire structure. In the UK, I've only ever seen what I would call a post-mounted traffic light that looks like this. Actually, I wouldn't have called it that before this video. I had to look up the term because all I could think of was a traffic light on a stick, but apparently it's called a post-mounted traffic light. In the US, we do have some post-mounted traffic lights, but it is much more popular to have wire-strung traffic lights that look like this, or if they're not attached with wires, they're still attached to a long mast hanging over the roadway. If there are any suspended traffic lights in the UK, someone let me know, because if it is, it's going to be extremely rare. There isn't an official reason I can find why America prefers to have lights overhanging, but honestly, we're not that great at driving, so I feel like one major benefit is just to get a potential obstacle out of our way so we can't hit it on accident. And if you think I'm joking, I'm not.
That's true. That's true. But would you argue that it's more visible? I don't know. But is it just like what she said with the was it stick or pole? But you get the idea. The stoplight in the UK being on like a stick, like there's nothing like is it only over on one side? Like you can only see it on one side? Because the overhanging, like I'd imagine it's way better for visibility because it's right in front of you. You cannot miss that. But over on that side, if you're like, I don't know. Y'all can let me know though, because I don't know.
The method of attaching the lights in the US does actually vary by region and by when the lights were installed. Wire-strung lights are an older type of installation and typically more popular on the East Coast than the West Coast, whereas the overhanging pole or mast is the newer installation and slowly replacing the strung wire where possible. The span wire, as it's called, is often used in states that are strapped for cash because it is a cheaper option. It's easier to put the traffic lights up when you just need 2 wooden poles and some wire, and they're easier to adjust in positioning for different layouts and road changes over time. They can also withstand the wind a little more than you would think, but the overhanging mast is obviously even more secure against extreme weather, which America does get a lot of.
Right.
And as pointed out by many people on the internet, the overhanging mast just looks a lot less sketchy than a bunch of lights dangling from wires over the road.
Yeah.
That being said, span wire traffic lights are still common in the US, and they do usually use a 2-wire setup that are better for stability. But driving around, you can still find some single wire ones at smaller intersections. Even within states, the use of span wire versus a pole mount can differ, such as in Florida. We use a lot of span wire, but in places that have been really impacted by the hurricanes over the years.
That's what I was going to mention it about Florida, because when she said poorer states uses these, I was like, but Florida literally has like a lot of those. Like, I don't know of Florida being a poor state. Like, it's not. Right, maybe I'm tweaking and I've really never done a comparison, but Florida has so many wealthy people there. But the range might be, so bad where there's a lot of poor people and there's a lot of rich people, and it automatically brings everything down. So there's a lot of poor people and less rich people, I should say. Right, so that could be a potential thing as well. And Florida might be a poor state, and I'm just not knowing. But I really don't know of that. But hey, all I know is they got a lot of them there.
Particularly South Florida, you'll see a lot of lights on a mast when they rebuilt, as span wire is not a match for hurricane force winds. Then you've got differences between counties who are in charge of the decisions surrounding traffic lights for their area. For example, someone knowledgeable in traffic signals made a comment that in Florida, for example, Brevard County liked span wires with traffic lights being vertical. Palm Beach County liked the signal fastened directly to the wire itself. So you can really see quite a regional difference, and counties in the US are typically smaller than what you would think of as a county in the UK. So you could only be driving for 10 or 15 minutes to a different county, and you'll find a little bit different of a traffic light system there. And to add to that, in America, you've got some places that hang the traffic lights vertically, like this, and some places that mount them horizontally, like this. So to sum up this section, in the UK...
hold on. I'm trying to remember if I've ever seen a horizontal traffic light before. Cause I'm being honest, I ain't never seen that before. Like I think I can remember a horizontal traffic light, but it was not a traffic light for like normal vehicles. It was a traffic light because there was a fire station. The fire department was beside it. So it's a continuous flashing light and it only, stops the traffic if the fire department needs to go somewhere. I could be sure that one was horizontal, but I don't think I can't recall ever seeing a freaking horizontal traffic light. I just I can't recall. They might be there, but I can't. I genuinely cannot recall. Mind you, I've been in Europe for way too long, but I can't recall seeing horizontal traffic light. I can't recall that, bruh.
Okay, traffic lights mostly look like this. In the US, traffic lights look like this, or this, or this, or this. Now, a lot of people don't know that the pattern of the lights in the UK and US is actually different. In the UK and US, the lights are similar in that they go from green to yellow to red. Now, the difference comes in when you go from red to green. In the US, the light changes immediately from red to green. There is no yellow involved in the middle. In the UK, the light goes from red, then red and yellow at the same time, then green. The introduction of the yellow in between helps let drivers know that the light is about to turn green. Whereas in America, the yellow only comes when the light is about to turn red.
Exactly.
Part of the reason has to do with most of America being built around cars and automatic ones typically, so you don't really need any notice to get your car going once the red light turns green.
Right.
Also, it's more common in the UK to put your handbrake on at the red light. Americans don't do this. We barely know where the handbrake is.
I've never seen anyone do that before. I mean, if you're on a hill and you're trying to chill, because like I get, but like it's an automatic car though. You don't need. Well, the truth is from a mechanical standpoint, you know, having the car in drive, preventing it from rolling back actually puts like it puts like a strain on the transmission, so it's not a good thing to do, but it does do that because it's hill start. It's like the process of a hill start is automatically done in the automatic transmission compared to the manual car, so it is being done. So you don't necessarily have to hit the hand brake or parking brake, whatever. But yeah, I've never seen anyone done that before at a traffic light, actually hit the handbrake. Like, that's wild. Never thought of that before, but definitely the stoplight doing the thing to go to yellow is definitely a real good plus, because like even if you're driving an automatic car, sometimes you be sleeping in the car. Like when I say sleep, I don't mean literal sleep. I mean you're not focused. And when it turns to yellow, okay, it's time to go. So I think that is actually a really good thing.
Going once the red light turns green. Also, it's more common in the UK to put your handbrake on at the red light. Americans don't do this. We barely know where the handbrake is. So the extra second or two to prepare to go isn't necessarily needed in America. The other reason I've seen mentioned is that there is no point in telling Americans that the light is about to turn green, because they will think that now we're in the Indy 500 and people will get into accidents, so it's better to make them wait and then surprise them. I know I make a lot of fun about American driving habits, but that's because I was allowed to drive when I was 16 years old on my own, and my test took place in a parking lot. Didn't even have to go out onto a major road. So if that tells you anything, there you go. This brings me to the end of this.
Yeah. Nah, but she had the honesty with it. It's the truth. No disrespect to the United States. It's always going to be love for the United States, always and forever, right? But the truth is just the truth. And, driving in the United States is probably one of the, most risky thing you could possibly engage in, because like she just told you, it was in a parking lot. Like a lot of people went through that same shit. I'm happy that my driver's license was in Europe. I'm happy about that, because The ironic thing is, I was supposed to get my driver's license, but I didn't get it, right? I just didn't because I was a different kind of dude. Though my family and everybody that I know was like, get your driver's license. I was like, nah, if I don't have a car, why should I get one? I don't own a car, why should I get one? But when I moved to Europe now, sorry, when I knew I was going to move to Europe, that made everything worse. And I started doing research about driver's license in Europe and how much it cost. And I was like, yo, it's so expensive here. What the hell? Right. And then I realized that you guys actually go through a schooling system. You don't get, oh yeah, mom and dad, can I borrow the car? Like, you teach me how to drive type shit. Nah, you got to go through a school system and you got to, go drive with the person. And I was like, oh shit, that's actually wicked. Right. And yeah, that's why it's so expensive. And it's very much more efficient. Right, you don't get the bad habits of your parents. So yeah, shout out to the UK and the rest of Europe for actually doing that. It's a really good thing. Either ways, man, we out of here. Peace.